I think at the end of the day, having some house structure or house rules. Ours again, number one, no freaking out. Number two, do all your have tos you have to. Then you can do all your want tos you want to. Number three, leave it better than you find it. And number four, if it matters for eternity, it matters. It matters. At the end of the day, we want our children to live a blessed life with as little conflict as possible to leave a good legacy and ultimately to go to heaven. Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to episode 3 of our podcast, number 3. I'm so excited. Third time's a charm. That's right. So today we're going to talk about structure, what we call our 4 house rules. Yeah. And every home has a culture. It may be very rigid or it may be the rules are there are no rules. And it's just anything goes. We call those free-range chicken children. And anyway, we're going to talk about how we do things. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It means it's what works for us.
Right.
Okay, sir, do you want to tell what? Rule number 1.
Well, and again, I think really there's structures, boundaries, guidelines, sure, baselines.
So why do we have those?
So we can harken back to them. They make great reminders to say to the children can say them to each other, say them to us, and it provides a boundary of safety.
A safe environment. They know, I think kids need to know what to expect. That's right. And they will push you. Well, I know I'm only supposed to go this far, but what happens when I step over that line?
Right.
And sometimes they'll consider that cost. They know there'll be a cost to that action. It was worth it to them in the moment, right? They thought. So you're teaching them really, I think, how to live in society because there are rules at school.
Right.
There are laws. Certainly there are God's laws and principles that we personally live by.
And their number one house rule.
Number one house rule, kids, they would say.
It just kind of level sets everything. No freaking out.
Whatever happens, we can handle it. And quickly, I learned that really when we were dating. We had left church. He was driving, and I was following him in my car, and we got caught literally in a tornado. Yeah. It was one of the scariest moments in my life. The rain was coming down in sheets and whipping. We found out later it was a tornado. And I was freaking out, and we were on cell phones. That's when they first came out, sort of.
Driving a separate car.
And Blackberries we had. Yeah. And he was like, just look at my lights. Keep your eyes on my taillights. And Chuck is a real calm in big crisis, not so much in little ones, but he's very calm in big ones. I'm more calm, I think, in the moment to moment sometimes. Yeah. And the bigger picture overwhelms me. So that works well for us. And that's how we made our culture. No freaking out. Right. He was saying, it's fine.
You'll be fine.
Just listen to my voice.
Eyes on my taillights.
Keep driving. You know this road. It was no freaking, because I could have freaked out really easily in that moment.
Yeah. So it's a great way just to try to keep things from escalating. And we have to remind ourselves sometimes. Or, as the kids get a little older, a teenager might say, Dad, no freaking out. I'm like, well, just let me freak out for a minute.
They bring that back to us as they get older. I thought number one house rule was no freaking out, Mother.
Yeah. But we can say, kids, what's our number one house rule?
No freaking out. That's right. So it's a really good one. Everybody knows when that is said, okay, somebody's probably freaking out, or seems like it's a big event. Let's just
reminder to take a breath.
And we're going to handle it.
Yeah.
As a family, we're going to handle it. And what's a crisis or a freak out moment to a 6-year-old or a 10-year-old or heaven forbid a 16-year-old, we can calm it. Don't freak out. We're going to handle this. We're here with you.
And that
we're your safety.
That rule reflects itself back in different ways. Like our son Nathan, he's got the biggest heart, and he doesn't freak out much, and he'll say, "Mom, it's okay.
It's okay, Mom.
God knew this was going to happen.
We're going to pray about this while you're not freaking out."
Right. So,
he's really good.
Great foundation.
It's a good foundational. And then number 2, this is a big one for me. I am very task oriented. I have, a list in my head every day of all these things that have to happen. Right. And it starts with me getting out of bed and making sure my bed's made before I wander out of our bedroom and bathroom for the day. That's important to me. So do all your have tos you have to. Then you can do all your want tos you want to. If you have 24 hours in a day, there are things that have to get done. Make your bed, brush your teeth, eat your breakfast, get your backpack. If it's a weekend, there's some things we're going to tidy up on and do over the weekend. When you come in from school every day, the first thing you do is you grab a snack and sit down at the table and we'll do homework and talk about anything that you need to over the day. If there's a project or something, we'll work on that. After that, maybe you need to put away the laundry that we folded during the day while you were gone, or something, little chore. Maybe you didn't put something up last night that you should have in the
Take
garage.
care of that before you race outside to play. Or
Chores, exactly. You can go outside, you can play till dinner time, and after that, is everything done you needed to do? Yeah, Mom. Okay, it's only 6:30. You've got an hour before your bath and reading time. Like, go do something fun.
right.
Do all your have tos you have to. Then you can do all your want tos you want to.
And,
And you'll find your have tos are a much smaller list than you think they are once you start
Right.
checking them off.
right. And again, that these provide structure and
Responsibility.
but they're distilled down pretty simply. So once they ingrain, okay, I got to do my have to. Sometimes you'll find that they'll do it like maybe the night before, getting ready for school. I know I'm going to have to do these things in the morning, and I want to have extra time to fix my hair, or I want to work on my Lego.
Those teenage girls.
So well, the little boys want to work on the
Legos and the girls with the hair. Yeah.
But it helps them, again, knowing what's expected, then they can adapt how to do that, and they can
They can also
prepare
plan.
ahead to do things.
Yeah.
Or even just knowing, coming home, you'll hear them talking back that, hey, when we get home, let's play baseball. But, oh, I've got this, I have to get this done. Oh, I left this thing out I need to pick up. And so it really provides.
It does. It helps
foundation.
them. You're right. It helps them have a calm in their mind. They know what to expect and what to do. It kind of gives them a sequence of events, and that can bring peace. If
Right.
you have a kid who's anxious and has to know what's next, you're building this in from a very early age.
Right.
The next thing is a big one for me too. Leave it better than you find it. When you come in from school, and I've ran the sweeper and mopped the floor and everything's dusted and neat, come in, there goes your shoes in the entryway. That's not where they belong. They belong in the garage on the shoe shelf. Throw your backpack down on the steps. Go in your room, toss your jacket on the bed or the chair. Get out your homework. Do the pencil sharpener and pencil shavings are all over the counter. Yeah. No.
Toothpaste in the
No,
sink.
toothpaste in the sink. That's a big one. Leave it better than you find it. That also goes for outside of the home.
Yes.
At school, if you're walking along and you see a piece of trash, lean over and pick it up. Lean over and pick it up. If you're at church and you see some trash or something, somebody's dropped something or left something, take it to the lost and found.
Yeah.
Certainly pick up after your own self.
Right.
But sometimes you have to pick up after others, and you learn that in our home too. I don't want to hear, I didn't put it there.
Right.
That's not my toy.
Yeah.
Those aren't my
It's not my
shoes. And
Not me.
Not me does a lot of things around here, and I'd like to know how to get a hold of not me or not mine or
Right.
I didn't, that person.
Doing that and picking it up for the family, for the other person that teaches that
To
sort of serving.
serve people that you love,
Right.
even sometimes strangers.
Picking something up at church, straightening something up, even getting in the habit of, open the door for somebody or push a chair in that you see, or pick up an empty cup that's laying somewhere. And we've kind of extended that rule to people. Leave people better than you found them. You want to have a positive impact on
kind
people.
word.
And, you don't want to leave somebody, upset over something.
We were in a drive-thru at Arby's recently, taking my teenage daughter to work. And the gentleman that waited on us had long curly hair, like his hair was right down here, but his hair was gorgeous. And I said, "Sir," I said, "you have the most beautiful hair." And he started telling me, "Oh, I inherited this from my mom. My dad hates it, but my mom's, it's this big arm." I said, "Well, I just think it's gorgeous." He said, "Thank you for not saying you should cut your hair." I said, "Oh, it's beautiful. I'm so glad I got to see your hair today." And we drove away. My daughter said, "Mom, I notice you often say things to people who wait on us, something nice. Oh, you're pretty. Oh, your nails look nice. I love your voice. Your hair looks gorgeous." I said, "Honey, it's always good to leave someone with a kind word. Always." I don't know if he was going through something, or obviously somebody had been harassing him about cutting his hair.
Right.
And I came back with something different, and he was able to talk in a positive light about that. leave them better than you find them. I love that. I just love that. That's a good one. And we also in restaurants, we don't just leave a trash
Oh my
down
gosh.
mess. And
We're training future bus people. They can stack the
they're like,
dishes.
here, mom, let's do this. Let's do this.
They get them all ready. But right, I mean, just it's just being respectful. You came in and you and your family made that mess at the table. Straighten it up a little bit. You spill something, wipe it up. We were at a volleyball game this weekend, and somebody else spilled a drink under their seat, and they cleaned some of it up, but it had run off, and and so I went and got some paper towels and
And
helped
after
wipe
it
it
was
up some
over,
more.
I went
And
and
when
got
the
them
game
off.
was over, because it was our home court, we mopped the floor
Yeah, I
where
went
it
and got
was.
them off. And that's the right thing to do.
It's just being a good steward, being a
Why
responsible
is that?
citizen,
Frozen.
and I think we'll
Okay.
just roll with it because
Okay.
hopefully it was just a glitch. If
Just
not,
a
we'll edit it
glitch.
out.
Yeah. But yeah, it's important. And I think also at home, we teach them that when they are finished eating at the table, they get up and take their personal space. The girls rotate often who's um, cleaning off the table after when everybody's done, and the boys will rotate taking the trash out and those kind of
Yeah.
things. Not that it's gender specific. Somebody's going to say something. It's just
They
the
help
way
with
we do it. It's just
putting
the way we
things
do it.
away, getting
They
napkins,
all
getting
do
so forth.
laundry and
But,
they help set the table.
but when
all
we
the
get
things.
up
I
from the
love them.
table at after a meal, each person kind of picks up their own space. They know to clean up their space, push their
Leave
chair.
it better than you find it. Don't
Yeah.
expect mom to come in and do it all.
Right.
It's not right. We all live here. Because one day one of them popped off something and I said, well, what if I only bought the groceries I'm going to eat? And what if I only cooked the food I'm going to eat? What if I only washed my own laundry?
Right.
What if dad didn't mow around the playset in that area because he doesn't get on the playset? Maybe we could let the weeds grow up to your ears.
Yeah.
And they were
air
like,
up the tires
oh,
in my bicycle.
that's right. That's right. So you're teaching, you're laying a foundation.
Right.
And then the biggest one, I think, for any family is what is acceptable and what is not.
Mm-hmm.
So our fourth one, and I say is our most important, and this is from our Christian perspective, but you can frame it however you choose. If it matters for eternity, it matters.
Right.
So what that means for us, if you're lying, if you're stealing, if you're gossiping, if you're making life miserable for someone else, these are things that are not what we want in your character.
Right.
And we want to get that out of you quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are the big things.
Yeah.
And other infractions, we one of the things you've always talked about is making sure that
The punishment fits the crime. The punishment fits the crime, right?
So whether it's a grounding, taking away a device, or sometimes just letting something go.
We have one child who will take their dirty socks off, and you don't know where you're going to find them, and that grosses us both out. I was in the laundry room. Okay, we are not going to ground you from your phone for 2 weeks because you left your dirty socks just stuck under the couch while you were watching TV. That doesn't make sense, right?
Well, I might after the third time or something.
Third time. Now, this week, when you first walk in my front door, there are 10 of us. So if we each take off our shoes and leave them in that entryway, you could come and knock on my door, and the first thing you're going to see is 20 shoes laying there. No, that's not going to be your first impression of my home. We have a place where shoes belong. And day after day after day after day, we say, take your shoes off and carry them where they go. Put them away. And we have a couple of children.
There are times where there's 5 or 6 pairs of shoes and there's only 2 people involved, or 3.
And the same 2 or 3 people.
Multiples.
So on Friday, I said to Daddy on the way out the door, I said, see those 3 pairs of shoes? Make them disappear for a few days. This has got to have a message. That was Thursday evening. So on Friday,
anybody ask for them?
on Friday, I'm waiting for them to confess and ask where their shoes are. Yeah. And so far, the one in particular, the biggest offender, came down with a pair of winter boots on us.
Teaching resourcefulness.
I said, it's August in Indiana. I don't think you want to wear those boots. Her answer was, they match my outfit.
See, resourcefulness, style, wit.
I said, wouldn't your white frock look better? And she's like, I don't think so.
Oh, don't know.
So I will probably sit down and have a chat with her and give them back. But
We have 3 children who have white Crocs that they like, and some of them have been put in quarantine because they were left where they don't belong. And I'm waiting for someone to say, "No, these are mine. No, those are mine."
yeah, the battle over the one pair of white Crocs.
Right.
I don't know why they wanted white Crocs. I guess it's a thing. So that's a good one. Now today, and then we talk about the discipline of it. And here's where you have to know your triggers and my triggers and your triggers. The biggest thing for me, I think, that I have to check my own attitude and my own tone. It happened this morning. I'm going to be very transparent. When we have to be if I get somewhere and I'm exactly on time when it started, I'm late. To be on time, I have to be early. My mother ingrained that in us. My siblings are the same way. You have to be early to be on time. If you're there right on time, you're late. And heaven forbid if you're truly late. That it just was not the way we grew up. And I'm very much like that. I'm also running the schedule for the most part for 10 people. I'm the mom taxi, all those things. And they don't know beyond when I drop them off from school the other things I have committed for the day. So
Right.
I can have a very long list of commitments. So I want to be out here timely. They're up on time. They're fed on time.
Yeah.
I'm fixing their lunch boxes with their help. Of course, those things, there's plenty of time.
Yeah.
As long as they don't dilly-dally and doodle-doo and carry on. So one of my younger ones today, who can get a really quick, challenging attitude very quickly. Yes, he can. I'm like, come on, man, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. We should have been gone like 3 minutes ago. So in my head, that's 30 minutes ago. And I realized my voice was escalating. And I thought, okay, I need to take a minute. And I said, buddy, this is what we're going to do. Because I could tell he was getting frustrated. And of course, he was reacting to me. And I said, let's take a breath in through our nose and out through our mouth. And he looked at me. I said, let's do it with me. We were smiling as we walked out the door, but I had to step back. That could have really gone from 0 to 60 had I not had some self-awareness and some self-control. That's a trigger for me, being
Right.
like, just because I would have gotten in trouble as a child, and that
Right.
carries with you through life, you
Right.
know.
Well, and in that moment too, I had to step back from I told you so because it was because he was delayed because he didn't have a jacket when it was time to go.
And had
He
been
couldn't
told to
find a
get your
jacket.
jacket,
And
get your
15, 20 minutes earlier, I was
backpack.
in his room trying to help him find a jacket.
Right.
And I'd given him one that he told me he wanted. And they said, oh, never mind, I have a jacket. And so as this was happening, and I'm sitting there saying,
You
okay,
tried to address it 15 minutes earlier.
right.
To
But
avoid
maybe
it.
that's something I can talk to him about later.
Yeah.
Or,
You can't in the moment. You could
Yeah.
tell his emotion was going up because he wanted a particular jacket. And then he said to me, which I didn't realize, Christopher said you threw my other jacket away. I said, buddy, I did. Thanks a lot, Christopher. I said, buddy.
Also, number 5, don't throw anyone under the bus.
I said, it had a bunch of holes on the sleeve of it. And even after I washed it, it looked terrible. But I said, remember, we just bought 2 new jackets. And I could tell that's what. And I didn't realize. So here's something else we say. Sometimes you have to get beyond the what
Right.
of what is happening, what they're doing, and find out the why. The underlying why was he had looked for a particular jacket and his brother, mom threw it away.
Yeah.
And so then he was dealing with grief and loss, really,
Right.
of that jacket.
Yes.
So you kind of have to know your kids and know their triggers, or step back enough to see why is this
Right.
bothering
Why
me
is it
so
such a
much?
big deal? Yeah.
Yeah. And
And-
then you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
And then if you have a child that comes from trauma or has ADHD or maybe on the spectrum, that is very regimented and something goes awry, you really have to know how to bring your child back to center, right? And we have 9 children, 2 young adults, but the 7 that are still at home, they're all different. And the other night we had a teenager kind of spiraling out of emotions, and we realized something was going on with a very good friend. There was a pressing project at school that was due the next day, and we had to say, okay, let's take it one thing at a time.
Right.
I actually walked away because I could see what was happening with that person, and I needed to walk away a minute and say, because I was doing some things to try to help,
Right.
and because of the angst in the moment for that teenager, if that teenager was pushing me away, that wasn't a rejection
Right.
of me. And I had to step back for a minute and go, okay,
Yeah.
this just happened, just got home. That's what was going on there.
Right.
This is due. It's already really it's bedtime, and we're just tackling the latter part of a big project. And so I was like, you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
And I think too, and I do this in work situations too. I think about different lenses of perspective, and so you kind of have to pull yourself away a little bit and try to see through those other lenses, or at least appreciate that we all have a different lens.
Acknowledge their feeling, even if it's totally off from
Right.
what's going on or from what we see. We need to say, I
Right.
can see you're upset.
Right. Well,
That must not feel good to
and
you
in
right
that
now.
particular instance, I was getting frustrated because we were just trying to help, and I was trying to make the point, we're just trying to help you. But that's not
That
what needed to
person
be
couldn't
heard
hear
at
that
that
in that
moment
moment. No.
because of the pressures they had going on. And that help was, sometimes when you help people, you rescue or whatever, they may not want that. They're trying to
I think
stand
that
on
was
their own too.
their
And
own
that was part of
independence.
it.
That was part of it.
Yeah.
There was a lot of dynamics in that.
Right.
And what I noticed is both of us had to walk away at some point to regroup as a parent, to regroup as the adult, to de-escalate the situation. If we had been hot-headed
Yeah.
and started reacting or matching that energy, this would have been an upside
Well,
down
and
mess.
that also gave them an opportunity to breathe too, because I think you just have to recognize, especially in families and relationships, that close quarters,
Yeah.
sometimes you need to put a little space in there for
We
breathing.
learned in 2020 that social distancing can be a good thing.
Yeah.
I say that often, and that means you need to go to your room for a little bit, or maybe I need to go to my room for a little bit, or you two maybe don't need to be in the same room for the next
Right.
hour.
Or
You need a break from each
we
other.
can't. This is bigger than we thought. We can't solve this right now. What are the primary things that we need to keep going in this moment? Like in that case, there was a deadline
many
and some things
things,
that needed. So, okay, what can we do? And we'll step away.
For me, something I try to remember, especially with 7 children depending on me every moment of every day, mom, 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 and that's okay. I love every minute of it. Is I have to remember, how do you eat an elephant? One spoon at a time, right? One spoonful at a time.
I'm allergic to elephants.
Yeah, that was Noah was allergic to elephants.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes just, he is really, really good seeing the whole big picture. It overwhelms me. I need to take, I'm a nurse. So I had to see what was, I triage my life. What is the most urgent thing? We're going to take care of these other things, but right now I have to take care of the urgent. I would often say, as a hospice nurse, I would come on the scene because of a crisis happening in the home, and I had to get there. I said I was a fireman. I was putting out fires.
Right.
I had to put out that fire and then look at the collateral, or what caused it, what I need to do to prevent that fire from happening again. And I think that I just naturally do that because that's what I've been trained to do, to look at a whole picture and narrow it down to immediate needs and then kind of put them in order. Where you can look at things more abstractly and over a 5-year term, where I'm like, I can't deal with 5 years right now. I got to deal with the next 5 minutes. Not that I'm unable to plan out farther, because I am, but I want to attack what's in the moment. I think that's why we work so well together.
Yeah.
Because we're
I like to see the bigger picture and kind of connect the dots. But yeah, I do think we're complementary in our styles, and sometimes we
sometimes they collide.
we frustrate each other because the other day something I was like, yeah, I felt like you were trying to plow through and I was trying to understand what we were doing.
It was, I asked you to do something, and because you didn't do it within 10 seconds, you're like, really? You didn't even put a period at the end of your sentence and give me a chance to do it before you're doing it yourself. I'm like, I'm sorry.
And that also helps us see the different strengths in our and personalities in our children. But one of the things I want to talk about too, I relate some of this to my work. So I work in IT and work with teams and groups, and often with teams we have what are called working agreements, and that's kind of what
Right.
these house rules are.
Right.
They're always high level distilled, just so you kind of understand what other people expect of each other. And one of the first things I always put on a team agreement is assume positive intent.
I love that.
And I think that's important, that it's so easy to um, read into situations and people's motives and things. Now, in a work environment, isn't the same as a family, but still just trying to recognize that we each bring something to bear. And if we have some sort of rules of engagement, if you will, it helps everybody better understand how to interact with one another. And sometimes you revisit those
And
agreements
sometimes you
and
have
talk
to,
about them.
mold things to fit a particular child. We had a child at one time who was a teenager, she didn't come to us till she was a teenager, through foster care. And she was very hot-headed, very volatile, and could not wait her turn. She was going to be hurt or go down trying. So we actually got a hairbrush. And if there was some tension, you could not speak unless you had the hairbrush. That was your microphone. And if you had, and she would just,
We also do that in team environments called a talking stick, and
the
sometimes
talking stick.
you use it in large meetings.
And sometimes you need to, because even if it's just so hormones and puberty or a 4-year-old temper tantrum, they need to be heard. Even if you know, why are you thinking like that? It doesn't matter. That's their reality in that moment. And sometimes just saying something out loud and being able to express those feelings
Mm-hmm.
is what they need.
Right,
Put
right.
words, and I would rather they put words
Yeah,
to those emotions than punch a hole in the wall,
right.
throw a toy.
Yeah, and
Heaven forbid, strike someone else.
I think, and particularly as you get older and more mature, I mean, sometimes you or I will say to each other, "I don't need this to be solved. I just need to be
I just
heard."
need to say it out loud. Yeah.
But we have to remember that with children as well. That they need to be heard, and we need to give them the space for that.
I think that's a good point. So I think at the end of the day, having some house structure or house rules. Ours again, number one, no freaking out. Number two, do all your have tos you have to. Then you can do all your want tos you want to. Number three, leave it better than you find it. And number four, if it matters for eternity, it matters. It matters. At the end of the day, we want our children to live a blessed life with as little conflict as possible, to leave a good legacy and ultimately to go to heaven.
Yeah, and we're raising human beings.
We're raising adults. Citizens. We're raising men and women who have the opportunity to be leaders of their homes, of their careers, of their church, of their school, of their town, of their nation. Who knows?
Right.
You don't know who you're raising, right? And we want to make the world a better place if we can, through ourselves and the people that we come in contact with and influence.
Right. Leave them better than you found them.
That's right. I teach my kids, read well. We are living epistles read of all men. You are a book you're reading us right now, forming an opinion of who we are, or thinking, well, because they said this or because they project that, that's who they are. You're reading us. And I tell my kids, be read well.
Right.
Let people, when you walk away, you were read well. That's important. Your name is important. Your integrity is important. And it starts very, very, very young.
Yes.
It does.
Okay.
And that's what we have for you today. We're so glad you joined us. Yeah. If you have a particular subject that you would like to hear us talk about, please leave that in the comments. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel and
share it,
please. Encourage someone that you know that's a parent. Say, hey, have you heard Sheridan talking about parenting? That's not all we're going to talk about, but that's the biggest majority of our lives.
We spend a lot of time parenting.
We're working on a special date for us in the next week or so. We've got a fun date planned, and we have to make sure those children have things to do and are well supervised and all that we'll work on. But that's going to be fun, and we'll come back and talk about that after we do it. What do we do for us when we're not? What do we do when we're not being parents? What happens then?
Right.
And so we're going to talk about that. I've got a new cookbook coming out. I'm working on it. It should be out in time for the holidays for gift giving. And so I'm busy with that, and we'll talk about that along the way. But leave us a comment. What do you want to know? Ask us anything.
Okay.
Anyway, we love y'all. Thanks for hanging out with us. Do something you love with somebody you love. It feels good.